Hey everyone and welcome. So let's be honest, if you've ever spent any time working in C, you've definitely had that moment. You're staring at a line of code, scratching your head, trying to figure out a declaration that looks more like alien hieroglyphics than actual logic. Well, today we're going to tackle that exact headache.
Just take a look at this. Isn't that something? I mean, this is a completely valid line of C code. But what in the world is it actually declaring? Is it a function? A pointer? Maybe an array of pointers to functions? It's the perfect example of how C's syntax can be incredibly powerful, but also, incredibly dense.
No, seriously, can you? If you can just look at that and know what it is instantly, my hat is off to you, for real. For most of us, though, trying to parse this thing requires some serious brain power, and maybe even a quick search for something called the spiral rule. It's a common struggle, almost a rite of passage for C devs, but it absolutely doesn't have to be a roadblock.
So why is C like this? Well, the language's syntax is built on this idea that the declaration should look like how you'd use the thing. It's actually pretty clever, but it's what leads to these really complex, nested statements that you just can't read from left to right like a normal sentence.
To get around this, programmers came up with these clever tricks, like the spiral rule, where you literally have to trace a spiral path with your eyes, starting from the variable name, just to figure out what it is. It works, sure, but it feels like a total mental workout every single time. It just goes to show how persistent this problem is. But what if there was a better way?
And that brings us to the hero of today's explainer. Instead of doing all these mental gymnastics, what if we could just ask a tool to draw us a map? That's exactly what we're going to look at, a simple, super elegant solution for this very specific, very annoying problem.
Say hello to CdeclDump. It's a command line tool that has one job, and it does that one job incredibly well. It takes those tangled, messy C declarations and just flattens them out into a clear, visual, tree-like structure. It's all about bringing instant clarity to the chaos.
Okay, enough talk. The proof is in the pudding, right? Let's actually dive in and see this thing in action. We'll start off easy, and then we'll work our way back up to that monster declaration we saw at the beginning.
All right, here's a basic function. We just feed the string void f of int a into the tool, and bam, look at that output. It tells us plain as day that f is a function. It takes a parameter, a, which is an int, and the function itself returns void. It's simple, clean, and you don't have to guess at anything.
Now, let's crank up the complexity a bit. Check out how the tool handles all these different layers. The visual tree just breaks it down perfectly. R is an array of 20 elements, which holds an array of 30 elements, which holds constant pointers to a pointer to an unsigned char. That visual hierarchy just makes it all make sense.
Okay, the moment of truth. Let's circle all the way back to that super cryptic line of code from the start. You know, the one that's a real pain to parse by hand. Let's see what CdeclDump thinks about it.
And there it is. This just shows you the power of this thing. The puzzle is instantly solved. The output shows us that fp is an array of 20. Each element in that array is a constant pointer, and that pointer points to a function that takes void as an argument and returns an int. What took mental acrobatics before is now just laid out right in front of us. Simple.
Now, as awesome as this tool is, it's important to know its limits. CdeclDump is a highly specialized parser. It's not a full-blown C compiler, so there are a couple of things it doesn't do.
First, it doesn't do strict C validation, so it might actually accept a declaration that a real compiler would spit out an error for, like a function returning an array or something. Second, it only gets the built-in types, so you can't use custom types, like size_t. But honestly, these are pretty small trade-offs for what you get.
So really, the whole point is this. CdeclDump is just a fantastic example of a tool that solves a really frustrating problem with a simple visual approach. For any developer who works with complex C code, this could be a huge productivity boost, and a great way to avoid those subtle bugs that pop up when you misread a declaration.
And that kind of leaves us with a bigger question, doesn't it? This is a brilliant solution for a very specific programming problem, but the idea behind it is universal. It makes you wonder, what other impossibly complex, confusing things in our work could be made simple if we just had the right visual tool? Something to think about. Thanks for tuning in.